free will and Pluto. So there's this whole thing about free will going on right now. Do we have free will or do we not have free will? I mean, it's actually an argument that's been going on a really long time, but lately a professor has written a book saying that we don't have free will. So now everybody's all worried about this. I would like to relate it to Pluto. So Pluto was discovered as a planet in like 1930. And it was this really big deal. Oh, we found a new planet. There's 9 planets. And for most of my life, I'm really, really old, Pluto was a planet. Then all of a sudden one day, they decided that Pluto wasn't really a planet. Of course, there was a big controversy about that too at the same time, right? It's Pluto, they can't take Pluto away, you know? But they did. So now Pluto isn't a planet. But think about this. Before Pluto was discovered as a planet, we were just living here. After Pluto was taken away, we're still just living here. It hasn't made the slightest bit of difference in human beings' lives, in the way that the sun is revolving around the earth, in the way that the moon is revolving around the sun. It's made literally no difference. It's just a designation of, like, what is it? A bunch of debris out there is what they're saying Pluto actually is. It's not, solid enough to be a planet. It makes no difference. It's just a designation. It's a concept. We don't know. They might turn around and decide that Pluto's a planet again. They, whoever's in charge of planets, right? It makes literally no difference to human beings here on the planet living our lives. Even if there was human beings living on Pluto, it wouldn't make any difference to them whether we think they're a planet or not, right? Same thing with free will. The idea of free will is just an idea. So the fact that some Stanford professor has decided that nobody has free will makes no difference at all to you and me, because each of us define these things for our own selves. You are walking along, living your life, believing you have free will, never thinking about it, believing you don't have free will. Whatever you were that. Then this guy decides none of us have free will, and you're still just walking around, living your life exactly the same you. Nothing has been taken away. Free will has not been taken away from you just because he says it is. One thing that has changed maybe is the way that you're thinking about this idea of free will. Maybe it's expanded your idea of who you are. Maybe it's made you a little less gripping onto your ideas of what a human being is. Maybe it's opened you up a little bit to start considering, well, this idea we have about free will, does it how is that useful to us as human beings? Maybe having free will taken away from you has made you clamp down more on your belief system. I have to have free will, or what's the point of living? What are we going to do in the future? What did we do in the past? Clamp. So that's the thing that really matters. Has the conversation opened you up to a more fluid experience of being a human being, or is it clamping you down into fear and angst about what it means to be a human being. The actual designation of free will doesn't affect me at all, doesn't affect you at all. Well, maybe it affects the culture, because if we all start believing we don't have free will, how are we going to behave? Or if we all believe we do have free will, how are we going to behave? So that might be a thing, but can that open your concept of who we are more and more? So my advice, study into it as much as you can. Talk about it. Consider it. How does it feel inside of you? How does it open things up? How does it clamp things down? Use it as a self-awareness tool rather than as a dictation from somebody outside of you that tells you who you are. You are not what that guy says you are. You are you. Bottom line.